great. That was great.
All right, we are recording once again. Hello, Ken.
Good morning, Fenton. How's it going, brother?
I'm doing amazing, man. How are you?
I am amazing as well. Every day, every day.
Let's get it. I hope everybody's doing amazing today. Welcome to Products of Circumstance, the new podcast with Ken Skeen and myself, Fenton Joseph. We discuss mental health and mindset matters through the lens of Black men. We cover topics like family and relationship trauma, relationships with money, self-worth, positive thinking, gratefulness, and so much more. This show is unscripted, it's unfiltered, and it's mostly unedited. We choose our topics randomly, and Ken is going to let us know what we're talking about today.
All right. That was a great opening, by the way, Fenton. That was amazing. All right. Topic of the day. We're going to go with self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage. I'm really good at that. I've gotten progressively worse over the years, but
that's amazing. It's great to become worse at it.
Yes. One thing I've gotten worse at is self-sabotage. But let's talk about it because it's still it's still something that I deal with on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And I'm still working on it. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are listening who have to deal with that as well. So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, let's see. I mean, we all do it. Self-sabotage could be something in career. It could be in family. It works in all different types. When it
what
comes
is
to
it?
So self-sabotage is when, the true definition, I don't have a dictionary in front of me, but self-sabotage is the way I see it. In career, it could be you not trying to advance in a position. It could be you being at a job or career. Sometimes people do it in a sense of showing up late when if you had to leave your house 10 minutes earlier, but you show up late all the time. Not completing projects, right?
Okay, I already want to interrupt.
Why is that?
I'm sorry. Barely got into this. Because what you said was, it's you. What did you say? You said you said something about not trying to do your job or something to that effect. But the thing that caught my ear was it's you actively not doing things or doing things that's gonna screw you up. Is that what we're saying?
That's correct.
All right.
You're actively, what you're supposed to do. You can own your own company and know what you're supposed to do. Say, for instance, I have a background in construction, right? Commercial and residential. Put your hand down.
I was missing meetings. I'm supposed to be talking to somebody right now.
Like things that, let's say I don't do my punch list if I'm doing a side job. All right, I'm in sales. So self-sabotage in sales. I'm lying to a customer. I would never do that. Showing up to work late. I don't understand. I'm brought up with the whole notion of 15 minutes early is on time, which is a thing that not everyone has. It is what it is. Do you?
I was raised with it, but I don't do it anymore. My mother would be very unhappy with me.
When it comes to family life, let's say, self-sabotage with family life. Not raising your children the way you're supposed to, teaching them manners, good morning, good afternoon, please, thank you, you're welcome, things like that. You can be self-sabotaging who you are as a parent.
Jesus, that just went 2 levels deep. Now you're sabotaging your kids. We were talking about self-sabotage.
Yes. Right. You got to build a good foundation with them. But yeah, it definitely defines itself in different aspects of your life, whether it be family or work. But yeah, people do it. And sometimes mindfully. You mindfully know you're sabotaging your career or sabotaging your family. And it's something that everyone does at some point or still does at this point in their life. But we have to be.
What do you think people are avoiding? Because if you sabotage, if you say, all right, I'm supposed to be at work, I'm not going to get to work on time. I didn't, turn this report on time, or I did it halfway, and things aren't being done up to snuff. So it's going to lead to some type of failure. Maybe you lose your job and then you don't have to go to work. I don't know how that's better, but what do you think people are avoiding when they self-sabotage? How does it serve them?
maybe it's not always avoiding. Maybe it's and again, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a licensed therapist,
Oh, yeah.
but maybe it's because they feel people may feel like maybe I'm not, I'm not worthy of this position. I'm not worthy of my family. So I'm gonna show that I'm not. And it may be a subconscious thing. It may be the way you were raised. Maybe something happened in your past that you feel like you're not worthy or you're not sufficient. So you literally just prove to yourself, quote unquote, that you're not. So anyone who tells me when I'm all right, so again, I'm in car sales. If one of my guys or gals comes in late and I ask them, let's say they're 5 minutes late, right? 5 minutes late. Well, I live 45 minutes away. Stop. Leave 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah,
Leave.
HOV lane.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even like you're an hour late. If you're like a minute late,
Right.
why didn't you just leave? If you know you have this certain traffic you're going to be going in, right? You know there's road construction going on. Why not just leave 5 or 10 minutes earlier? Then you won't be late. I see lateness is one of those things with me because I guess my dad
There's a theme
instilled
going
it.
on here.
My dad instilled it in me, so now I try to instill it into the people that I manage, and especially with my children. Also, I'm like, listen, don't be late. You're taking up someone's time.
You are a particularly punctual person, if I can alliterate a little bit, which is great. That's the way, you really ought to be. Like I said, my parents were always very punctual, and, they raised us to be that way. At some point, things started kicking in my psyche, and I ended up being late. And I think there's definitely something to it, the idea of self-sabotaging. I think that there's been imposter syndrome, which I know is something that a lot of people deal with. Even if they haven't identified it, I've certainly identified it in myself. And it's these feelings of inadequacy, these feelings that if I can just, be cliche and speak in plain terms that everyone can understand, maybe not feeling like you deserve to be in the room, not feeling like you deserve a seat at the table. And if you really feel that way about yourself, we talked about in other episodes, like if you keep saying something to yourself over and over again, or even repeating the thought in your mind, like your brain is going to absorb that, and then your thoughts turn into actions. So if you say, I'm not supposed to be here, you're going to find a way to not be there.
Right.
And I think that's what self-sabotage really comes down to, is subconsciously finding opportunities to undermine yourself.
Yes.
And it's actually a really, really tragic thing, because you can have like the greatest trajectory in the world to be on your way to a successful life, a happy life, a fulfilling life, and find it's one of those things where people are like, how did that go wrong? How did she go left? How did he go left? It was all set up for good, and then it just, and I definitely have more than one of those stories in my personal life, where I was like, I was a stockbroker trainee, right? I was on my
Never knew this.
yeah, we're putting it all out there, man.
Right? No,
it don't matter.
Share with the audience.
Statute of limitations. I was a stockbroker trainee. I had worked at a movie theater, and I left the movie theater, and I ended up as a stockbroker trainee. And ostensibly, what was a really smart move for my career, especially being somebody that didn't go to college. I dropped out of Adelphi after 3 months. I never wanted to go. And I needed, to figure out something. Music was always, the dream. But as a struggling artist and producer, I needed to make money. So I did have a job. I worked at a movie theater. And then, I got to the stockbroker trainee job, and that was going pretty well. And I got into some legal trouble, right? And, that was a bad look. There was literally no reason, zero reason for me to get into any type of trouble with the law. It is inexcusable. I come from a good home, good parents. They raised me right, a good peer group. You know what I'm saying? Like with friends that were doing things. All of my friends at our age went to amazing schools, got incredible degrees, do incredible jobs, making impact in the world. It just didn't make sense, except I felt like I didn't really belong. I can
Okay.
say that 100%. I really felt like, yo, like this isn't my life. This is not what I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be a stockbroker. I think if okay, man, we're having a little therapy session. I'm not going to say anything with 100% certainty, but maybe it had to do with the fact that I really just wanted to make music. I always saw myself as an entrepreneur and doing my own thing in life, and music was the dream. And anything that got in the way of music, I'm telling you, bro, I wasn't really into it. I've talked many times in my life about times that I've literally cried in the office because I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in a recording studio, making music, living out my dream. That's the gift that God gave me. And when you feel it so intensely in yourself, I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I'm going to change you to I. I felt it so intensely in my spirit that I would be an emotional wreck sometimes being at work. And so it doesn't surprise me that I was the worst employee in like every job that I've ever done. I was always a terrible employee. The thing, and this, follow me, I'm going somewhere. The thing is, because I'm a gifted individual, I'm smart, I'm not patting myself on the back, like whatever. Like if it's true, it's not bragging. Like I know a lot of stuff. Some of it's useful, some of it's useless, but I'm a pretty bright dude.
Hey, one thing. Never say useless. I'm just going to cut you off for 2 seconds.
I'll come back.
I used to always say, useless knowledge, because you learn certain facts as you go along your path in life, right? And I used to think, you spit out something, oh, it's useless knowledge. Stop saying that. All knowledge can be useful.
Sure.
Continue.
And I'm smart enough to pivot and say a lot of knowledge I have has limited application in, many quotidian, right, day-to-day scenarios. It's stuff up there. It's going to be useful one day. It's buffet information, okay? Doggy bag info. Take it and put it in a doggy bag you might need later. Anyway, right. All that to say that in most of the jobs that I've had, I've actually really shined. I've excelled because I'm a pretty bright dude. I figure things out really quickly. I'm self-taught and I can learn really quickly on the fly. I'm good with people. I understand how to use the English language really well. I got a lot of things going for me that make me a really good candidate for employment. But in my spirit, Ken, in my heart of hearts, I never wanted to be at any of the places I was at. Not one. I was a director of communications. I didn't want to be there. Like I actually enjoyed that work. And I enjoyed my time at the mortgage company a lot because of the people. There were a lot of really cool people. And the work was interesting, but it doesn't change the fact that underneath it all, under the surface, and Kanto, man, I just wanted to be doing my own thing. And I found every opportunity, I guess it was subconsciously, but it manifested in the real world to screw stuff up. It's like, why is dude late? Well, where is Fenton? Why did this thing not get done? And I could see that trend throughout like my entire professional career. I want to take a moment to publicly apologize to everyone who ever employed me, because I guess I hadn't figured everything out about myself. And, I have a lot more clarity now, but back then it was just a mess. Anyway, I don't want to ramble. I think that everyone should kind of take stock of where their priorities lie. And it might be helpful for them to really think, is the time that I'm spending doing this or doing that is this really where I should be spending my time? Or should you just stop and say, I actually want to be doing something else, or I actually don't know if I want to go through with this journey. Because
that's good,
right? Sometimes maybe you don't need to follow through, but you're too scared to say, I'm just gonna stop. You're maybe too concerned about what people are gonna think if you quit, right? Shout out to Seth Godin, our favorite guy, The Dip. It's the little book that tells you, was it like when to quit or something like that?
It's when to quit, yeah, because we're taught as kids, never quit, never quit. But there comes times in life and career that you should quit.
You should quit sometimes. Opportunity. I think the opportunity cost of not quitting many times is so much greater than whatever the goal was, right? And the value of that. If you're emotionally like sick to your stomach, going to work, being in a relationship, being around family, whatever it is, if you're like, dude, my body is telling me this is not it, then you have to be able to put up with the social cost, right? The awkwardness, the embarrassment, the disappointment of others, and say, I'm prioritizing me, and this isn't it for me, and y'all just gonna have to deal with it because it's your life to live. And I honestly can say that as somebody who, when I got laid off for the last time from my advertising job, from the advertising world, and I started doing my own thing, it was the most liberating feeling. I felt like the whole weight of the world off my shoulders because I wasn't putting on anymore. I wasn't pretending like that's what I wanted to do. It's not what I wanted to do. And, but I have a wife and I have, a child, and I have the expectation, decades worth of expectation of everyone in my community that, well, Fenton's, Mr. Corporate guy, and this is what he does, and we expect him to do well in that world. But it's not for me. And, shedding that off, bro, I could cry. I could cry right now. I'm so happy that I chose the path that I did and that I get to live the life the way that I do. That's it for me. I'm done.
No, that's good. Thank you.
I'm gonna go cry now. Give me a second. These are my tears. I'm actually drinking my own tears. I had a good cry before the call.
I'm happy you actually went into that because, like I said, I started off with saying, people sabotage themselves in business, but in family, you can do that as well. Whether it's you're married or it's with your children or just mom and dad, whatever it may be, you can sabotage that as well when you go through your family life. So let's say you're married and you're out there, at the club every Saturday night. You're sabotaging your relationship. I'm sorry.
Word up. She's like texting, like, when are you coming home?
Hey, it could be the female too, though. I'm not just saying men. It could be female. Why are you at the club every weekend?
Amen.
I say, shouldn't that be your best friend? You hang out with them, but it is what it is. I'm not going to judge. I'm not here to judge. We're just talking.
I was going to say, don't bring Sam to the beach. But I don't actually feel that way. My wife and I, we don't go to clubs. We go to Club Jesus. We'll be like in church on a Thursday night.
Club Jesus.
but for people who do, like to your point, not to cut you off, but for people who like to hang out, it's like, as I dig in my eyeball, it's like, like you that your significant other may not approve of certain things. And I'm not here to say what's right or what's wrong.
No.
I'm just saying, your situation. If you have a significant other that's all good with whatever behavior you're partaking in, be at the club, you could do other things, and that takes away from the time that you're spending with them. If they're cool with it, great. I like to go for bike rides, right? Like I'll go on a Saturday morning, I'll be gone for like 2 hours, whatever. Like it doesn't bother my wife at all. She's like, "Yay, go baby, my little, Lance Armstrong, Tour de France," and she supports it. But if she didn't, and I know that that's something that bothers her, well, that could be a form, to your point, of like self-sabotage. It's like you could either break up and find somebody that supports the thing that you do, or you can stop doing it and focus on the relationship, or you can just keep doing it and
just keep doing what you want. just let it roll. Just let it roll.
It is what it is. But you should, at least to your point, you should at least be able to identify that. You should say, "Hey, I know this is not a great look for the relationship, And do I want to sabotage that, or do I want what are my priorities? Right. Sorry to cut you
Exactly.
off.
No. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, exactly
And
to your
another thing,
point.
I'm just kidding.
Exactly to your point. So if you know you're doing it and the other person in the relationship doesn't agree with what you're doing, but you continue to, yeah, you're sabotaging. So the other person needs to decide whether or not they want to stay there, or the person sabotaging needs to decide whether or not they want to stay there. But I guess everyone's different. When it comes to work life, go ahead. When it comes to work life, again, we're talking about just being late, but you brought up a point of, you weren't doing your projects, so you weren't um, getting tasks done.
It didn't get done at all. It's really late.
If you're just disappearing in a day, listen, then maybe you don't want to be there. But then you do have people that say, well, this is the path I want to follow. And they still sabotage. Whether it be, again, I mean, it could be anything. So it could be you saying you were at the firm becoming a stockbroker. So let's say that is the path you wanted to follow, right? Mm-hmm. Not you, just in general, the audience. And you feel like you don't have you're not worthy of it. So yes, this is you have a passion for whatever field you're in, right, but you still subconsciously or consciously feel you're not worthy to be there. Right. You may end up sabotaging on a daily basis your task at hand. All right. So all right. So I'll do what I know. Right. So right now, sales 12 years. So let's say I'm on the floor, right? I'm a salesperson on the floor. I want to move up in the company. When I was on the floor, I made sure I took every customer I could and put the same treatment. From start to finish, when it came to car sales, is meet and greet, sit down, do a worksheet, find out what vehicle they want, do a walk around, show presentation, do a test drive, come back and do numbers, go for the close, write your deal. And I use it every single time. You use your foundation. Now, if you want to sabotage that, you don't ask them what they want. You don't do a walk around. You don't do a test drive. You go straight to the desk for a number. You're sabotaging your deal right there from the get. You're not building any rapport.
How much you putting down?
Right. And so you're not building any rapport. You're sabotaging your deal from the get. You're not, and you say to yourself, well, I want this to be my career. You're not going to move up doing that. You know what I'm saying? And then even as a manager, you have to manage the team that you have and teach them what you know. So teach them the foundations, but you may sabotage your own career once the manager above you says, well, what are you doing with them? You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it comes to any field and you say to yourself, well, I do want to be here and I do have a passion for this and I do want to advance, but you choose to sit and go through your social media accounts. Let's do modern right now.
I'm old. I don't know if I can keep recording. I need to check my Instagram.
That's you sabotaging that. I mean, and then God forbid you had a family to take care of. It's not everyone just out there for themselves. You may have kids at home. You may have a spouse at home, a significant other, a parent that you're taking care of. You know what I'm saying? I have people at my current job right now that are in their early 20s, but helping mom and dad out with the bills, or they're helping their siblings out, helping them pay for schooling or helping them buy a new car. So you're sabotaging yourself and your family as well, when your whole point of going into that field, whether it be sales or whatever else, furniture building, stockbroker, digital management, whatever that field is, you're supposed to be helping your family or your spouse or significant others. And now you're sabotaging that world as well. You need to just reflect. You need to reflect once in a while and just say, what am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself? Really sit and reflect. Stop, put down the alcohol for a sec, put down the cigarette, read a book.
Hard.
Yeah, it can be very hard, but hard. Which hard do you want? Do you want the hard?
Hey, that's my line.
Hey, stop it. Do you want the hard where it's hard to advance, or do you want the hard where you're sitting there stumbling, trying to figure out how to pay your bills? Which hard do you want? I want the difficulty of knowing, all right, this is what I need to do to advance another level. Not, oh, wow, I can't pay my bills this month because I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs instead of doing my job. And again, you don't have to be working for someone. You can have your own company. Like I said, I mentioned before, like, look at, for instance, with you, you support your family because you have your own business that you built. But imagine those people that work with you, not for you, but with you. I'm a big believer in that. We work together.
Me too.
Imagine, for instance, with you, Fenton, where you didn't give the people you work with the right protocol or the right information to build that website, and you just tell them, "Hey, figure it out." That's sabotage right there. You have to give them, here's the blueprint. Let's all follow it. Yeah. And we'll build this together. Pivot where we need to pivot, but let's get it done. Here's the goal. Now let's go get to the goal together. But if you say, here's the goal, and you don't have the blueprint, how are you going to get there?
100%.
You have to have some kind of plan. So if you're not planning, I'm very into spontaneous.
Me too.
I like to be very spontaneous, right? So I don't mind that at all. Stopping, smelling flowers, and going, turning off the navigation, just driving so we get somewhere.
Absolutely.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But when you have a goal, you got to have some kind of a plan.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that plan, you're going to sabotage your life. You're going to sabotage your career. You're going to sabotage the people around you that you're supposed to be trying to take care of as well.
Well, you laid out like the steps that you were taking as a salesperson on the floor at a dealership, how to get somebody to the closing table. And they sound like very clear steps, which I never would have thought of. But one thing that I know from, especially being like somebody whose mind is all over the place all the time, is I need to break things down into chunks. And when I break them down into chunks, into actionable steps, I'm like, all right, I know I got to do this, and this to get, there's totally A to Z. And it is kind of like, like that's the formula. So if you omit one of the steps or, like intentionally choose not to do something that you have to do, like, that the result is not going to be optimal. It's going to be suboptimal. It could result in failure. It could result in delays. It could result in, like whatever, but it's not going to be the intended result. You can hope for the best that, by grace, that things will turn out okay, but that's no way to live. That's not sustainable. And I think, like, for me as a business owner, I know what I'm doing, so I could maybe skip a step here or there and still essentially get out, net out at the same place, but it's not sustainable, especially at scale. Like, you really need to make sure that you're following the plan so that, what did I say? I say this a lot. It's like by having a process, I say process. So by having a process, you mitigate. Is it that? I'm not British. My kid listens to a ton of Peppa Pig though. Daddy Pig. By having a process, what?
Notice the pinky. I'm sorry. I'm not, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. By having a process, you mitigate variability in outcome. That's it. I get a lot of questions about, I'm going to go off on a little tangent, but I get a lot of questions from clients. They say, have you ever built a website for this type of company, a particular vertical? And my answer is always, well, if I did, the answer is yes. But if I haven't, the answer is I haven't, and I have a process, okay? So that I can understand your business needs, the essence of your brand, your unique value proposition. I have a very extensive multiple page intake form that gives me basically all the information that I need to come up with a very clear understanding of what's your itch that needs to be scratched. And the same for your end client, for your demographic, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a golf course, if it's a restaurant, if it's a beauty salon, if it's a corporate lawyer. I can build a website for anybody because I have a process to get from A to Z. And that is something that I think I think most people have, okay, now I'm going to back up. I think a lot of people don't have processes for a lot of things, actually, that's the real truth. But even for those of us who do, be it a function of our job, where you're given one or you've developed one because your paycheck depends on it, or whatever other situation you're in, I think it's easy for us to skip steps. What I'm saying is, I think it's actually easier for these things to happen when you know what you got to do. And the subconscious is that your brain says, I'm not going to do that. I know I'm supposed to send this email on this day for this reason. I'm not going to do that. What were you doing? I was doing something else, but I'm not going to do that. It's important. Now I'm going to switch over to, all right, we talked about like, what is it and how does it manifest in business and personal life, whatever. What are ways to get around it? I would say that the first thing I would do is be sure to acknowledge it. You got to say, all right, something that I'm doing here is resulting in outcomes that are not desirable for me. This is not actually what I want to see happen. And just to unpack that a little bit, you have to identify what you actually want to happen in your life. If you
Agreed.
want your relationship, your personal relationships to suffer, then right, keep doing whatever it is that you want to do. But if you want to see them improve, you got to figure out what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it. So there has to be some self-awareness there first. Again, we're not licensed therapists. I'm not sure how to help you figure that out. Pain is oftentimes a really good indicator that things are wrong in life. Your body works that way, right? We have pain receptors that say, oh, that didn't feel good when I moved that way. Something must be wrong. Let me go to the doctor and check it out. Who has the joke? I think it's Seinfeld. It's like, pain is information rushing in to fill a gap. It's like you stump your knee on like the table and it's like, oh, I didn't know that table was there. That's information coming in that I needed. Don't do that anymore. And I think in our lives, it's the same way. You have an uncomfortable situation where you're talking with your boss and they're not happy with you because your performance is just like really crappy. Okay, that's uncomfortable. That's, I work on commission. I didn't get really paid anything this month, or my sales were down 75% because I'm starting to screw up. That's painful. What is going on? I need to go to the doctor. I need to look into this situation. So I think you'll know when things are off in your life because you're experiencing pain and discomfort that you don't want. And then after you've identified it, I would say make sure that your reality is aligned with your vision for your life.
I like that.
Right? For me, as somebody who I had a vision for my life, which was a career in music, my reality wasn't aligned with that. And so there was a lot of friction. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, butting heads. I'm trying to be a corporate guy when I'm actually a creative. And I needed to figure out how to more closely align my reality with my vision for my life. And I think that's something that everybody can do. So again, I know I'm kind of going in reverse here. What is your vision for your life? Figure that out.
I don't think a lot of people really sit down and contemplate that, though.
No.
A lot of it's just kind of day by day, on the fly. No blueprint. No. You know what? Like I said it in one of our other podcasts. Sit down and write.
Yeah.
Write your thoughts down. Put them on paper. I think it'll help. I didn't say it'll fix. I think it'll help when it comes to just your life in general. Just get your thoughts out, and maybe it'll help you decide what you want to do, the path you want to be on. Maybe you're in the career or with the right person, or, things can be fixed very easily, actually, but you just haven't put pen to pad. Or try meditation. I mean, it's not hard. I'm talking about like 15, 20 minutes of meditation, just silence, and just listen to what your head's telling you. to help fix or to help change the thought process that makes you sabotage what you're doing in life. I don't know, just like I get simple things sometimes work.
Can we go back to writing for just a second?
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
when I have written down goals, and I've been doing that for the past couple of years, and they're very specific. It's things like income goals. It's things like where I want to be in my marriage with my wife, how I want to be as a father, the things that I'm doing. It's the house. Like it's all different things, right? Professional and personal. and I'm able to look.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm able to see. That's why we don't edit this stuff out, because it's hilarious. I'm able to go back and look and say, oh snap! In 2021, I said I was going to be here by 2022, or in 2019, I said I was going to be here by 2022. I can look and see my progress. Now, I know for a fact, for me, some things that I said I was going to have done by 2022, I've totally accomplished. And that makes me feel amazing. I'm like, yeah, I'm checking things off the list. And not just checking them off the list, but I'm on this journey of becoming a better version of myself, the best version of myself, which is never going to end. It's only going to end when I die. I'm making real progress, marked progress. And then there are things that I look at and I'm like, okay, I didn't get there yet, but I'm on my way. What else do I need to do, or what can I do differently to help me make more progress on that, goal, day by day, month by month, quarter by quarter, year over year? Like my goal right now is to lose about 40 pounds by this time next year. I'm not looking to do it in 3 months and, or by the end of I'm giving myself a very realistic timeline. But when I write it down and I go back to it every month, I can not only be reminded, but also look at the progress that I'm making and make changes. You gotta keep this stuff at the front of your mind. We're busy people, we're working, there's family, there's kids, there's all the things that you do. It can be easy to forget that you have goals. And as crazy as that may sound, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot that I had an income goal for this year because I was so busy focusing on selling, focusing on churning out that report, whatever the case is on the day-to-day, that by the time you pick your head up for air, it's like, oh man, like I'm behind. Or you might come up for air and say, well, I'm really ahead of my goal. I don't think it's good to be surprised either way, for better or for worse. You don't want to be surprised about the progress that you're making. You want to be keeping track of that stuff. And again, it's not just about how much money you're making and things like that. For me, having... Okay. So,
Minnie Mouse dress?
Yes, we can have the Minnie Mouse dress, okay? Yes,
we are regular people, by the way.
Okay, I'll get it for you. Daddy's still on his call. He'll be done soon, okay? All right, I love you so much. I get to be at home with my daughter every single day. Last night, we went out for a daddy-daughter date, and she had a great time. I had a great time. We got dressed up, and it was really sweet. What kind of father do I want to be? How much time do I want to spend with my child? These are things that are also written down as goals. It's not always quantitative things. Sometimes they're qualitative. The quality of life, the quality of your relationships, the quality of the time that you spend with other people, the quality of the time that you spend with yourself. These are things we also need to write down. And I understand it's a little harder to measure progress on being the best dad that I can be and things like that. But you have to, again, it's your vision for your life. I'm not here to tell you, and I don't think you should read a book to try to tell you how to be the best person that you could be. Take some time and think about it. Like you said, and that's where I cut you off, but it was to come back to what you said about meditating. Be still. Be still. One of the greatest challenges that we have is all of the distractions around us. Take time to be still, people. Shut out the noise. Just sit in a room. If you've got a 1-bedroom apartment, go in the closet, go in the bathroom, lock the door behind you, put on some noise canceling headphones. If you can't afford them, stick some cotton balls in your ears. shut out the noise and just think, okay, where am I? Where do I want to be? But you need stillness and peace for that. And I love that you said meditation, because I think people overcomplicate it and they think that you're like, sitting down in like a toga or dressed like a Buddhist monk and you've got the little Chinese, balls. It's like, no, it's just shutting up and making the world shut up and just being still and listening.
Right. And just kind of feeling your own vibration.
Yeah, man. So much
It's real.
good
It's
stuff
legit.
happens when you just sit in stillness.
Yeah. It is amazing, actually. It's my wife got me into, she's big into like meditation and just being still. And, she got me into writing down my goals. I always thought, it's in my head. Don't worry about it. I'm good. No, you gotta get it out. You gotta write it down. She's into vision boards.
Nice.
I definitely give her a lot of credit. I definitely give my wife a lot of credit when it came to
Kudos.
I guess calming my brain once in a while, because I'm very, 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 I will pat myself on the back. I'm very good at multitasking.
Right.
Which is a gift and a curse.
Yeah, because
Because-
I'm horrible at it.
Like you said before, you really got to just sit and be still for a sec. Right before we got into this, I'm, for our side company, Skeen Concepts, we're remodeling a bathroom. I was up this morning at Home Depot getting supplies and then running down into the BS. I have a basement, like Fenton said. Yes. Running down into my basement so I can get ready for this podcast. And then after this, going back. Yeah, I gotta. So once in a while, I myself have to be still and feel my own vibration and just get away from the noise, the noise of life. Yeah. Otherwise, yes, you will be on that path to sabotage what you have, what you're doing, your path itself, if you're not focused or coming up with a way to obtain your goals. Mm-hmm. You're never going to be there.
Yeah, creating that framework, those steps.
Yeah. You really have to have the steps. Listen, my father's always taught me, look, you can write your goals down, just write them down in pencil. Why? Because you can always change the goal. Like you said before, you wrote a goal down that you wanted to do by 2022, but you did it in 2019. All right, let's go.
Right.
Let's make a bigger goal for myself. Obviously, I was able to sustain my journey and I got there quicker than I thought. Time to bump up and become a better person every single day. Every day you can become a better person every day. And that should be your ultimate challenge to yourself, becoming a better person every day. Whether it be mentally, whether it be the way you treat your family and friends, whether it be the way you treat your career or whatever it may be, the way you treat your pets, who cares? Just become a better person every day.
I think if you focus on that, it kind of pushes out the whole self-sabotage mentality, because you're part of it, of becoming a better version of yourself, is also having greater control over your thoughts and your mind. And the self-sabotage comes from here. It comes from your thoughts. And so the more you can control your thoughts, the more you can capture that thought and say, okay, that's a self-sabotage thought. That's not one that's going to serve me. I'm going to put that over here and I can replace it with a more productive thought, right? Which can literally be, I am worthy. I do belong to be here. I am good enough to do this. They do want my opinion because they value it for real. They do respect me. And all these positive affirmations to replace the negative ones. Sometimes, and this is something that I have to do every single day. I do this every single day. I replace negative thoughts with positive ones. I'll have a thought. I can't stress this enough. I'm trying to tell you people, every single day I have negative thoughts. That imposter syndrome stuff is real.
Yeah, it is.
And I'll say, nah, Fenton, you're good enough. You got this. You can do this. You're going to do. When it's things like with eating, right? Like I got into a place where I was really struggling with my eating, and I put on a lot of weight. That's why I said I wanted to lose like 40 pounds or whatever. So for me, every day when I look in the mirror, it's a slow process. I'm not there yet. I'm not where I want to be. So it can be very easy to say, you're still fat. You're not where you want to be. Like, look at you, like your mind will say all these negative things. I replace those thoughts intentionally out loud. I say it out loud. So there's vibration, you know what I'm saying? Like moving through the air, changing the air around me. You're doing a great job. You're already looking better. I can see your clothes are fitting a little bit better. Hey, you ate a really good breakfast today and you drank a lot of water. Man, you went to the gym twice this week already. It's only Wednesday. You're crushing it. Ken, I'm saying these things out loud so that I can replace those negative thoughts, because it's not that thoughts aren't going to come. And I think every person that you could possibly admire or that you read a book about, that you put up on a pedestal, they'll all tell you the same thing. The thoughts don't really go away. It's just you get so much better at managing them. Now, some thoughts do, I think generally, okay, I'm going to back that up. Some thoughts I think do go away. There are some things that I don't think about anymore.
Right.
Because I've just overcome that. It's just not even in my world. My headspace is just in a different place. So there are some things that I just won't even say and I won't even think to say. But it doesn't mean that there won't be new challenges. As you level up and you get better and better, there's going to be new things. If you're trying, and I'm just using like weight and whatever and your body as an analogy. I'm not like hyper focused on it, but I think people can understand, right?
Right.
Let's say you're overweight where you want to be. Let's say you're 200 pounds, you want to come down to like 150. Just using an example. You get down to 180, that first 20 pounds is like, whoa, it's a big difference. And it's usually easier, right?
Right.
You're losing that fat that's just like, whatever. And then as you get closer to that 150, you're going to find that it gets harder and harder and harder to lose the fat, body fat. It's just, if you want to be like 10% body fat, when you were at 30, going from 30 to 25 is relatively easy. But I'm not doing a good job explaining it because I'm not a freaking, whatever those people are called who do fitness stuff. Licensed personal trainer, whatever.
A trainer?
I don't know the esoteric terms. But as somebody who has literally lost 40 pounds before in his life, I can tell you from experience that it gets harder to lose that last bit of weight, that last bit of flab around your stomach and so forth. And the same thing is true in other areas of your life. As you move along professionally, there's that last little thing that humps that you're trying to get over mentally, that it's harder. And I know I'm not doing the best job of explaining it, but I want you to be aware that you need to find a way to start to convince yourself through words, through thoughts and meditations that you got this. Because your brain, trust me, is hardwired to tell you that you don't got it and find ways to keep you safe. And that's a whole other episode with the lizard brain and the brain that want to protect yourself and how we have.
No, you're right. You're right though.
Yeah,
come on.
I'll put a book link in the description.
What you said before, I want to circle around back to that. Speaking out loud. I don't think enough people do it. Look, when you're in your car driving, when you're at home, not everyone has a car. We live in Long Island, you kind of need one. But when you're by yourself, whether it be home, in the bathroom, in your car, wherever it may be, talk out loud. Talk to yourself out loud. I don't think enough people do it. Talk out loud so you can hear your voice say positive affirmations about yourself. Because Fenton's right. Your brain will continually just wander and you will have negative thoughts. It happens. You have to replace those thoughts with positive affirmations about yourself because no one else is going to do it for you.
We
And
do
if
it
you're
with kids.
if you're thankful,
We tell the kids.
be thankful if you do have people in your life that give you positive feedback.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that. Listen, I do it to myself. I'm my biggest supporter. Next to, I have great friends. I have great friends and family around me as well, but I chose my circles. But I am my biggest supporter. I tell myself, like Fenton said before, on a daily basis, I'm worthy. I belong here. I'm positive. I can do this. Let's go. I give myself positive affirmation on a daily basis. I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. The reason for creating this podcast with Fenton was to get the word out so people can understand, look, everyone goes through it. It's okay. All right? It's okay. But you gotta stay positive. And people, well, that's easier said than done. Yeah, but why not try it? A lot of people don't even try to tell themselves positive thought. They don't even give themselves that opportunity to be positive about themselves.
Yeah,
And if you think about some of your, not all, not all, but some of the problems you may have are small, and you're creating mountains out of molehills. Is that the saying? You're creating mountains out of molehills. Stop. Oh, that's one of my big ones at work. I tell people, stop. Just stop. I'll say it 5 times, and then all of a sudden they'll stop and like, wait, what?
We just stop. Can I tell you a thought that I just had? Because I struggle with this sometimes. It's like you say, all right, stop, and it's like, how do I say this? There's like, you always want to be sensitive to people and the fact that people have issues that is like, perception is everything. Perception trumps reality. So if it looks like a mountain to you, then it's a mountain. It looks like a molehill to me, it's a molehill. But I think what's important is like being open to other people's perspectives. Okay? We talked about this before. When you're really close to your issue, like it's so big, it's like blinding. You know what I'm saying? Like it's right in your face and you can't see, beyond your issue. Right. But to me, I'm like, it's not that big a deal, dude. Your ego, you have to get to a place where your ego isn't going to stop you from hearing somebody else's perspective and actually like taking on that perspective. There's 2 ways of looking at this. Like, no, in one sense, you don't want to listen to what other people say and make their reality your reality. At the same time, because 2 things can be true at once, it could be helpful for you to take.
Dada, can I have the little piggy thing?
Absolutely. See how smart I am?
Oh, really?
Lady asked me for something, I just say yes. Of course you can have it. Why would I say no?
Whatever you want, child. Whatever you want, child.
It might be helpful for Fenton to take Ken's perspective and say, you know what? I might be too close to the mirror to see what he's seeing. I might be looking at this with a bias and say, I trust Ken, I respect Ken. I don't think he's going to steer me wrong. He's wise counsel. Let me go off of that, because the way I'm approaching it and the way I'm looking at it certainly isn't working out for me. It sure is stressing me out. It sure is making me take actions that don't result, God bless you, in outcomes that I find desirable. So sometimes you got to take a leap of faith and say, you know what, I'm going to trust that somebody else's perspective is probably the right perspective, and that mine might be a bit skewed. And that requires, I think, a discipline that, I can't tell you how to achieve it, but take a leap of faith. Especially when people love you, and it can be challenging. Like you said, when you don't have support around you, that can be challenging.
It is.
Maybe it comes in the form of mentorship from afar. It's a book, it's a YouTube video, it's somebody that you don't know that can share a perspective because they have a similar story or what have you. And I don't want to go on forever because I know you got to roll. But let it suffice to say that yes, self-sabotaging is a real thing, but it can be identified, and you can find frameworks to to help. What's the best way of saying it? To help mitigate the effect that it has on your life. It may not go away completely, but you can really push back against it and say, hey, those thoughts, you stay over there. You're not screwing this thing up. This is too important to me. I'm too important. I'm too worthy to let those thoughts get in the way of where I'm going.
That was a very nice wrap up, Fenton.
That's what the teleprompter said. I just read the teleprompter.
All right. Well, listen, sir, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. You enjoy your daughter. She is adorable.
Thanks, man. She's the best, and I can't believe that we made it through this whole thing without her coming on camera. I'm thrilled, but she's a great kid. Enjoy your day. And everyone like, subscribe, and share this with somebody that you think might get some value out of it. And we'll catch you next week.
Yes, yes. Enjoy.
Peace.